Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day so far. So today we are talking exciting launches. I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 most exciting launches for me personally of 2020. The launches that when I saw the sneak peeks, when they were announced, I lost my mind, my heart pounded. I knew hook, line and sinker I was done for, that I needed to have whatever they were giving. And then I'm going to be reflecting on whether it lived up to the hype, the expectation that I myself had, whether or not I think these exciting, gripping launches really actually lived up to how excited I was when I first heard about them or saw the images, etc. So as always, play along, join in, tell me what the most exciting launches this year were for you and whether or not they actually lived up to the excitement that you had initially to try the product, to get your mitts on these exciting products. So the first product that really tickled my pickle this year, just at the mere announcement that it was coming, was the Charlotte Tilbury bronzers. As soon as I saw these were coming out, was flipping hyped. I was excited, not least of all because there were 4 shades coming, 4 shades, one from like the fairest of the fair to the richest, deepest bronzers, 4 shades, which I thought was amazing. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury in general has really improved her shade range and inclusivity this year across the board with her powders, with her foundations. Everything has increased and moved forward, and this was definitely a part of that, releasing a range of bronzers from super fair skin to the most richer, deepest skin tones could pick up this bronzer and have a shade for them, which I love to see. And I knew it was part of her airbrush family. We all go nuts, or a lot of us go nuts, for her setting powder. It's in the same family. I really love her foundation, so I really had high hopes. I always I can't think of a complexion product. I haven't tried her loose powder, but I haven't ever tried a complexion product, foundation, primer, powders, blushes, highlights, and all of her cheek products in general. I love them, and the brand in general really floats my boat, tickles my pickle, ticks all my boxes. It's very me, it's very soft and forgiving and buildable and easy to work with and smoothing and airbrushed. And so I was so excited for these bronzers to come out. I knew it was going to be amazing. I knew I was going to love it. The packaging I love as well. I love the fact that it's refillable, so you can save money next time, and it's more environmentally friendly for that reason. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to love about this launch, and I was hyped, and it absolutely lived up to the hype for me. It's one of, if not my favorite bronzer. It's certainly my favorite matte bronzer by some way. I wear it all of the time. I'm really sad that I haven't hit pan, because I know my friend Mel really has hit pan, and I can't see that happening anytime soon. This is a giant bronzer, and I don't even seem to have made a dent, despite the fact that I use it so frequently. For me, this absolutely lived up to the hype that I myself felt. Next up, the Hourglass Sculpture collection. Now, I just, as usual, cleaning this on myself. I was super excited. I'm always excited every year to see this palette because it just really appeals to me. It's got, you know, everything you need for like a full face in here: bronzer, blush, highlight, powders. So yeah, for me, it does it for me. I love it. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's a lot of products in one. I'm excited every year to see it. This year, it was a little less exciting. I think as each year has gone by and they keep bringing out the same palette for the same skin tone, it's got less and less exciting. And I think, again, a lot of the time with Hourglass, I feel like their promo shots make things look a lot deeper than they are in reality. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh my God, that's going to work for deeper skin tones. It looked much richer, particularly the bronzer. I felt like it looked much richer. The blushes look quite rich even here, but in the promo pictures even more so. And I really think for that reason, it was a little misleading, and it often is. I certainly feel like their at night blush, I literally thought that was going to be like a brick red, which is how they described it, and it turned out to be a soft coral. And don't get me wrong, I love that blush, but it was, I feel, the promo pictures make it look as though it's going to work on the deepest of skin tones, and it certainly isn't going to, in my opinion. But yeah, when I saw this, I was super excited. I felt like they were going to be working for more skin tones. The fact they released the quad, it felt like more was coming, and maybe this is going to be the year when they release multiple palettes. What this one maybe for lighter skin and then a deeper palette, or maybe this one was going to work for deeper skin tones. But then when it arrived, as much as I love this, so personally for me, did it live up to my hype of a product to work for me? Yes, but it was disappointing to see yet again that it did not cater for more skin tones, or more than just one group of people. Next up, the Lisa Eldridge collection, the most recent one, including her glosses, which I'm wearing today. This is the shade Blush that I've got on my lips, the gloss, and this is the shade Affair. Let me tell you, I lost my mind when I saw this, because I know she's released the shade Fawn, which was like her most nude shade before, but that was going to be much too light for me. This is considerably deeper and richer as far as a nude. As soon as I saw that she was releasing a deeper nude, I was so excited. Like, forget everything else, this was what I was hyped for. And then I saw that she's bringing out glosses and liners and numerous other shades that I wanted, and kits, and you could build your own kit. And the excitement just grew and grew until I was frankly beside myself with glee. I was so excited for this. I felt a little bit concerned that this shade was going to be too sort of caramelly, but as soon as it arrived and I put it on my lips and I tried everything, and the liners, and I tried the gloss, which I just kind of got for the review purposes, but actually turns out it's like the easiest thing to just whack on your lips for a school run, and it's so comfortable. It was almost, I mean, I was hyped, so excited for that launch anyway, because I was going to get myself a nude from Lisa Eldridge and try a couple of new formulas from her. So I was hyped for that as it goes. But when they actually arrived, and I loved everything even more, and even the shades I was thinking, I'm not sure how much I'm going to love them, I loved them more than I expected. So for me, it actually exceeded the hype, this launch, because it was even more amazing and I was even more in love than I even expected to be. Next up, Divine Rose 2. Oh my goodness. Probably the most chaotic launch of 2020. An absolute shower of you know what. It was an absolute show. From my perspective anyway, and I know I was definitely not the only one. This is how this launch went for me. So this was all I wanted, I think, from the launch. I know she was releasing Divine Rose, the original, in the pinker packaging. I think it's slightly different colour-wise to this one, but she was releasing Divine Rose 1 in a pinker packaging. Divine Rose 2 was being released or launched for the first time in pink packaging, and both those palettes were available in black packaging, and there were sets. I think that was it, and maybe there was the smaller version, I forget. But this was all I wanted. All I wanted was the pink packaging Divine Rose 2. I already had one. I didn't feel the need to repurchase it in a different colour packaging, but I wanted this so badly, and I wanted the pink packaging. So I was on there, you know, I got my early access email. I was like beside myself with expectation and exciting. My heart was pounding. I wanted to vomit. I took myself upstairs away from my kids and my husband to, you know, be focused when launch time came. The second the email came, I clicked it. I put the palette in my cart. I went to check out, and it was just loading and loading and loading, and nothing was happening. And I was just thinking, I don't know what to do, because it's not telling me I'm in a queue. And so I don't know if this is going through, and I can't afford to just sit here, because I knew this was going to sell out in a stupid number of minutes. I felt like just sitting here was a mistake. So I went into like a new tab. The exact same thing happened. I was trying to put my code in, my discount code, that wasn't working. And I was like, who cares? I'm happy to pay full price for it. Forget the code. But every time I went to check out, it just loaded and loaded and loaded. And it wasn't in a queue. It just wasn't going through to the checkout. I then got my laptop out and started doing that. I think I then managed to get through to checkout. And it was one of those where it like took the palette out of my basket, so I was like beside myself. So I went back onto the site, and I thought I'll just buy the set of the two, Divine Rose 1 and 2, and then I'll sell the other one on, do a giveaway, something like that. So I bought the kit That went pretty straightforward. I bought the set of both Divine Rose 1 and 2 and I checked out. Everything went smoothly, none of that buffering. Got my confirmation email almost straight away. And then I saw that Divine Rose 2 and on its own with just the pink packaging was back on the site. And so I thought, well, I'll buy that and then I can just return the duo. Someone else can have it and I'll get the thing that I want. So I did that. Then a few hours later, I got a cancellation email for the duo that I had ordered at about 3 minutes past. I never received my confirmation email for the single that I'd ordered later. And by the time I ordered the single, by the way, it was about past. It was like half an hour after the launch. So I was like, if I haven't got the duo that I ordered at 3 minutes past, I haven't got the one that I ordered at past. It was an utter mess. I then emailed them to say, am I going to get the single or not? I don't know. I just want the palette. They said, yep, it's confirmed, but I haven't received my confirmation. And then they replied just saying, oh, sorry, we've refunded your discount code that you couldn't use. And I was like, well, I could use it. Actually, it worked on the single. Anyway, this story is going on forever, I understand. It then took I think 3 weeks to come. I never thought it was going to turn up and I never thought it was going to be in the pink packaging. So I feel like the actual process of that launch, I was so excited for it. The process of the launch completely ruined it for me, ruined the experience. It was stressful. It was upsetting. I was out like £400 and had no palettes at this point to show for it. And it was like enough to put me off Pat McGrath for life, to be honest. And then when it arrived, for an amount of time, I had a bit of a sour taste about this palette in my mouth. Like, it took me a while to forgive it for the process I went through to get it. But with time, we've moved on. We've grown and we've forgiven each other and we've come together. And now it's the love of my life, one of, if not my all-time favourite palette. It certainly did live up to the hype. The experience did not, but the palette itself more than lived up to the hype for me. Next up, the Hourglass Infinity powder. If you've seen my review on this, you'll know how I feel about it. I don't like it at all and I don't use it, and I was so excited for this powder when I saw it. I thought, oh my god, because again, Hourglass powders, their blushes, their highlights, their finishing powders, their setting powders, they really rarely have a dud. They rarely go wrong. And this really looked like it was going to be amazing. It was going to be a glowy, luminous finishing powder that was going to smooth and airbrush me and leave a soft glow, and it just doesn't live up to my expectations of what I thought it was going to be and what I hoped it would be, and really what they said is. I was beside myself when I thought it was the answer to all my prayers. I thought it was going to leave me looking like an angel, but it leaves an odd colour on the skin. It dulls everything down, and it kind of makes everything sparkly but matte. It is quite smoothing, I do feel that, but I can't use it as a finishing powder, which is how it's designed, or a buff or anything like buffing or anything like that, because it completely leaves a weird looking colour cast finish on my skin, and it's just pointless, and it just doesn't do what I was hoping it would. And it was a massive anticlimax because I really was excited and thought this was going to be amazing, and it was not. Sad times. Next up, Charlotte Tilbury's mascara. Oh, I was excited about this. I don't know if you remember, I think I talked about this in a Will I Buy It, and I was hyped. I was excited. I was beside myself because I feel like Charlotte Tilbury is a brand that's always improving. So when they come out with a new foundation, for example, it's better than the existing foundation. They've got better shade range, better foundation, wears better. The same thing goes when they bring out a powder or they bring out a highlight. It's always the best one that they've had so far, or that's how I feel anyway. So I've never really got on with Charlotte Tilbury's mascaras as much as I love the brand. I've never had a great mascara from them, and I felt it in my bones. I just knew it. I knew it was going to be amazing. I loved the sound of it. I loved that the wand was a little bit innovative with the flat side, and the fact that you use the flat side to push your lashes up. I love the sound of that. And as you know, if you are not new here, it is the love of my life. One of my favourite, my top two, if not my ultimate favourite mascara. It's not actually the one I've got on today, funnily enough. Of course not. How inconvenient. But It's my go-to, my everyday, the love of my life. I love it. It gives me the lift, the separation, keeps the number of lashes fanned out, the cat eye. It does it all for me. I love it. It's perfect on lower lashes. I don't need to use a different mascara. And it lasts so well. Like, I used the original one for literally 3, if not longer, months. And it was as good for the first and last use. And I kind of threw it away because I just felt like, really, I should, rather than it stopping performing as well. It absolutely lived up. It was exactly what I thought and hoped it would be, that when they come out with a new mascara, it was going to be way better than all the other ones that they have. And for me, it absolutely was. Next up, Pat McGrath's Holiday collection. Now, this went way smoother. Way smoother. I don't know if she learned. I keep feeling like I don't want to believe that improvements have been made, and permanently, because I don't want to get my hopes up and then them to be dashed cruelly again. But the Holiday collection went very smoothly for me. When I saw this collection, it was the first collection, I think, all year where I wanted it all. I wanted all of the eyeshadow palettes. I wanted lipsticks. I wanted the highlight. And it was exciting. You know, she was giving us the products we've been asking for. We've been asking for a highlight from Pat McGrath for years, like a single powder highlight. We've been begging, and here it was in all its glory. Eyeshadow palettes at much more reasonable price points. Lots of people able to get their first ever Pat McGrath palette with loads of shades because it was half the price that they normally are, and several quads, one for every person's preference or skin tone. You know, lip products coming out of our ears, new products, lip balms. Like, it just was, there was something there for everybody, and I could have happily bought the entire lot. There was so much there that got me excited. I instantly knew I wanted the Big Daddy Mothership Mega. Of course, it was like glorious, something new, something different, loads of colours from Pat McGrath. I knew it was going to be amazing. I needed it. The lipsticks, I was like, oh, I don't know, I couldn't really see any lip swatches. The packaging was to die for. Of course I wanted the highlight. Of course, that was mega exciting to me, to finally get some cheap products from Pat. The quads, I decided to wait for a review because I wasn't really sure. I'm not really a quaddy person, but I picked up a couple later, having watched reviews, and even those, they turned out to be like loves of my life. This collection, it's like one of my favourite collections of all time. I bought a lot of products, and that's not like me. Usually I'll be very picky and pick a couple of things, but I could have bought the whole thing. Why can't I open this? So this for me is like potentially the highlight from that collection because it was so unexpected. This is Risque Rosé, and I've talked about this a lot. When this first arrived, I had just got out of the gym, right? I was about to get in the shower. This arrived. I couldn't wait. I was so excited that I whacked it on my naked eyelid with like no primer, no concealer, no nothing, slightly sweaty from the gym. And I just went for it. And literally under those conditions, it performed like a dream. I mean, how many palettes would do that? Not many. And I instantly knew it was love at first sight. I can't speak. That's how I feel about it. That whole collection just lived up to the hype for me. And because it wasn't an utter disaster from a customer service experience perspective, I had there was no, taint to it. I just saw the pictures. I was obsessed. I loved it. I was excited. I got it, everything I wanted to, fairly easily in an almost reasonable time frame, and everything was beautiful, amazing, and loves of my life. So for me, that was one of, if not the most exciting collection of the year, or product launch of the year, that fully lived up to my own hype. Next up, this palette from Wayne Goss. I was so excited when I saw the pictures for this because it just looked so different. Like, I haven't seen a colour scheme like this. I could really instantly picture it on the eyes, how it would all work together. I know this is so divisive, this palette, as far as when you look at it, you're either like, yes, or what? That's how I feel like people, when they look at this palette, they have one of those two reactions. And I was very much in the yes category. I was excited. I've never tried anything from the brand before. This was my first Wayne Goss purchase, and I was hyped, excited, beside myself to try it. That quickly started to fade when the reviews started to come in. I started to get a little concerned. I'd already ordered it. It was too late for me. I was going to be stuck with it. So I decided to, just wait for it to arrive, make up my own mind about it. And yeah, it definitely, for me, it didn't live up to the hype. I did feel really disappointed and underwhelmed, I guess. There was nothing disastrous about it. I don't hate it. But in the few times I've tried to use this since I received it, it just, every time I feel a little bit sad and disappointed because it's just not what I wanted or hoped or expected it to be. And so, yeah, for me, this did not live up to my level of excitement. I was so excited and it was just a bit like deflating. And last but not least, the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. Now, I don't have this yet. My friend Morgan has just ordered me this because I'm about to run out of my solid original silk canvas. But when I saw that they were bringing out, I mean, this is the love of my life. The primer, the only primer I've really ever loved, been in love with, needed, wanted to use every single time I put my makeup on. And now there's another version, a liquid version, which feels like a little more, quick, easy, simple. You don't have to unscrew it. It's a pump, whack it on. It seems like it's, moving forwards, which I feel like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's, I live by that. So there's an element of that here, but I just don't feel like Tatcha is going to bring out another version of one of their ultimate best, the best products on the market as far as primers, the most loved, and then make it worse. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, I need to have it. I need to try it. I want it. It's not easy to get here. It's not cheap to get here. So I finally got one in the mail, thanks to my friend Morgan, and I am beside myself. So that is a TBC. I will confirm whether that one's lived up to the hype for me once it is here. But that was one of the most exciting launches for me. So there you have it. Those were the 10 most exciting launches for me personally of 2020. Please let me know what the most exciting launches were for you. Were any of them the same as mine? Were you as excited about these launches as I was? Have you been excited about anything this year? It's been a little bit tricky to get excited about stuff lately, hasn't it? It's always nice with makeup to just have some harmless excitement about new products and have the fun and anticipation of whether it's going to work, what it's going to be like, if it's going to live up to the claims, what it's going to look like on you, how it's going to perform. That's what I love about makeup, is trying new products and seeing if they really live up to expectations and to the hype. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.